As much as I love assembly and final detail work, this dash is, I have to say, one of the most complicated dashes I've ever had to assemble. Couldn't get any of this done until the windshield clips were installed to hold the moldings, because there's nuts up on the inside underneath the dash pad, so even if you remove this you still can't get to it. Those trim clips are done and we're never going to speak about them again. That's been installed. I just got this installed. Right now what we have to do is get all these switches here. There's a series of headlight, wiper, inside dome light and door light switches, or instrumentation switches, that need to be installed into this housing that I just brought in here. Okay, earlier I suspended all these switches from the dash so they don't ground out. If the youngins can figure out how to drive this car, have at it. They'll never figure it out. Nothing like the modern stuff they have today that you can operate with your phone. Alright, so those are all the little shields and knobs. Knobs, we'll deal with that later. Right now, I'm going to get the switch inserted. I need to figure out what's up and down. Lights. So that's vertical. That's good there. Okay. This is what takes the time. Okay. Even I can't see under here. Just going by feel. That's not feeling too good. My fingers are too big to stick in the hole to turn the nut, but I think we got it. Yeah, we got it. Want to make sure it's not cross-threaded. Ooh, someone just sharpened their blades. What we'll do is we'll get all this assembled, and then I'll bring you guys in. Uh-oh. Shoot. That goes to the little light up there, which means I have to rotate this up. We should connect the radio. Maybe I should have done that first. It's a hefty unit. I'm looking for the jack. Oh, right there. I hope we have enough wire. Come on. When you assemble something like this, you move like molasses. Slow and easy. There is no rush. For those of you that know. Each one of these switches have a flat spot on the bottom. There's a set screw in the knob. You slide it on top. You slide it in, do up the little set screw. Later on they just turn to little friction holds, but this car was severely overbuilt, which is why it survived all these years. That's why I love these old cars. You can do stuff with them. You can restore them, you can customize them. Okay, that's good. moment of truth. We need to be able to get this up into place, get some fasteners into it, and this thing is by no means light. This radio here, I'm going to cue up a little video on testing the vacuum tubes. I'll show you what that entailed, and then we'll get back into putting this in there. We're going to get into this Mopar model 844 car radio. I'm waiting for some parts to get from the blaster, to get back from the blaster, and I figured we can get into this one more time, just kind of go over the tubes. As you can see, I got my old tube collection out. Go over the tubes and see how they look performance-wise. That's something we didn't do the first time around. I'm not going to be doing any capacitor change around just yet. This is more of a novelty thing, and just for fun, I figure since I might have some of the tubes, we can see if anything needs to be replaced. I got my tube testers here. This is a miniature, kind of a handy dandy portable model, as well as this Stark unit here. Plug it in. So I'll use this one too, just for fun. It's been a long time since I've had these out. Used to play with this on a regular basis when I was younger. Okay, so we got the schematic there, shows us all the tubes. Pull these tubes out. You gotta be very careful because they're dusty, dirty, and if we're impatient and go to wipe this tube off because it is dusty, we might rub off the tube number. And in this case, this one here, it's indicated down below. It's a 12AQ5. So let's put that over there. Get this one out as well. That's a 12AQ5 as well. Philco tube. These are probably original, never been changed. I do notice a little bit of oxidation on the pins. We're going to get those cleaned up. And this one here is probably a diode. Come on, out you go. RCA, yeah, it's been changed, yeah. So this is a 12X4, so this is a diode, so it has to be tested on a different setting than those. And we'll get into that in a second. Rather than pull out all the tubes, we'll just test the ones up here first, flip it over and do the other ones. So what we have here, kind of a Rolodex system where we have to look up the tube code, tube type, see that? And then it'll give us all the parameters to set all these wonderful knobs to. So if you love knobs, it's the perfect machine for you. So 12AQ5, we're 8. Scroll into 12, 11, oop, did I pass? Yes, I did. AQ5. So we need to set the filament to 12.6, and then these selectors through here to this ET1562. Not that you're going to be doing this, but well, let's just get into this. So 12.6 filament, 12.6 filament selectors are here. ET, 1, 5, make sure we got the right setting, 6, 2, and that's set to 0. Oops, we don't bump that. The bias, we're going to set it to, what is it, 11? I can't look through the camera and do this at the same time. There, and the shunt to 86. 86. We want to be accurate with this. Function code. It's been a while, guys. A. Function. Oh, it's set to A already. And condition 4100. Cord's in the way. See, that's the thing with having an extension cord running up above. Let's see if we can move it over. We don't plug the tube in just yet. We're going to turn the unit on. And being that this is a 7-pin, we use a 7-pin socket and plug it in. And we got to give it some time to warm up. There we go. So I'm testing it by pressing the test, and we have a very good tube. Now to double check what we just saw there, it came into the good range. So I want to double check it with this one. We have a manual here. We have to look up that tube number. I think I'm going to get you guys on the tripod. All right, here we go. You see how old it is, actually yellowing. It's been around. All right, 8, 10, AQ, I gotta know your alphabet when you're doing this. AX, AQ5, right there. So 4F1, 2. Set the dial as 4, F1, and we 2. Let's make sure 4F1, 2. Pinch this here. Take our tube, unplug it, and stab it in there. And we gotta wait. Just while we're waiting, oh, there it goes. So it's just a tad over 60%. We're at 65. That's awesome. So unplug this baby. We'll have to clean the contacts in a moment. Again, we gotta wait. It's coming up slow. Yeah, it's about the same. We're sitting at just over 60%. Warming it up a little more. We're at 65. 65, come on, 70, can you do it? No. Oh, 70. That's even better. Perfect. All right, one more tube to go. Then we'll clean those up, put them in. Flip this over, get onto the bottom side. Okay, so we're going to test out these tubes on this unit and see what we come up with. 12AV6 is the code tube type. 12AV6 is right there. So we have to test for 3 different things. If you have a dot here, it tells you it's a diode. So you read it on diode scale. So we're going to test different elements of the tube. So 4F1, 1. Stab this guy in here. Wait for it to warm up. And what I'm waiting for those that don't know, we're going to look for a little light up in here until it warms up. I don't want to lose this page. Until it warms up. And at that point we can go ahead and push this and see what our gauge tells us. Oh, look at that. We're sitting at 66% on the top scale. It's climbing. It's getting warmer. Almost 70. 70 is good. And then the other thing we have to check for is, if the camera's not focusing. Come on, focus. We need to change the settings with the tube out. 4F1, and test 5 and 6. 4F1, test 5. You don't want to be touching these dials or switches with a tube in there, because say it's a 6-volt tube and you apply 12 points whatever volts to it, that's not going to be healthy for that tube. And again, we're waiting for the light to come on. And this time we're going to read it on the diode scale. Double check here. 4F1, and 4F1, 5 and 6. 4F1, 5 and 6. Now that's interesting. There's nothing coming up on there. 5 and 6. I wonder if we have any of these tubes in stock. Light coming on? Anything? Oh yeah, there we go. Little glow. Climbing, 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 climbing. We're in the green. It's okay, I guess. Let it warm up a little more, maybe. Yeah, yes, it helped. So we're okay. But I'm curious to see if we... Oh, she's warm. Warm is good. All those electrons running around. Glowing up there and glowing down below. Oh, look at that. We jumped up into the green. So the tube seems to be testing out pretty good. I wonder if we can keep them. 12AV6. Now, while we wait for that one to warm up, let's see what we have here. 12AX, AX, 12D. There's a BA. That sounds familiar. What's this one here? AV6. Oh, interesting. Brand new tube. New old stock. They have some really nifty designs. This was tin case. We got some bigger ones here. Probably came out of a television. It's a silver tone. Yeah. And somewhere in here, here's one with a cathode on top. Check that out. So you actually pull one of these or this thing out here and stick that on top. Well, it says good. 11/20/1947. That is so cool. And somewhere in here, I have a tube, came out of an Admiral radio. And based on signal strength, I forget what they're called, but this white band here actually glows this luminescent green, almost kind of like this color here. And based on the strength of the station, you can dial that station in for the most green on this band. I don't even know what it's called. It's an EM84 or 6FG6. If anybody knows, throw it down in the comments. Very unique tube. A lot of history here. Okay. We're going to get this radio back in the car and get to listen to it with it all hooked up. Not that we're going to be listening to the AM band radio too often, but it's a novelty thing. Almost. We'll have to jump in underneath and tidy up the wires. That's not bad. Except for this. Son of a gun. One thing I did not think of. Holy moly. Okay, breathe. Screws. Where'd you go? Oh no. Memories of a goldfish. Ah, here. We will have to change these out. These are not the right screws. I just need something to hold. Oh no, don't let go. Please. No, it doesn't get this hot. Okay, I can rest. Oh no. Hook this wire up. The adjustment for the cowl vent. We kept the cowl vent in this car. That's up under there. Everything's been set outside. Make sure it's sitting the right angle. And now, before I move that, I'm going to have to roll it underneath there. Don't know how yet. And make sure that nothing gets pinched when you that lever. Last thing you want is a dead short and then have to rip all this stuff out again. You need to have a feather light touch. Okay, that one's that. Then we have wiper. There's lights, wiper, panel. We have another panel. We have map dome. I'm assuming that one was that. Yeah, that's map dome. And it sits on an angle. I'm not crazy about that, but that maybe when I do the set screw up, it'll set into place. There's another wiper and another panel. This panel means this panel. So that's that. Oh man, that's pretty. Ta-da! I prefer to have the knobs nice and vertical, but in some cases, like there's either that position or that position. It's the OCD thing. Kind of want to make sure everything's nicely aligned and good. Alright, here we have it. Turn the power on. Now I did pull the fuse for the coil so we don't burn up our points. As you can see, we've got one set of dome lights and the mood lighting, nice and cool for today, set up. Radio, nothing works until the ignition is on. Ooh, look at that. Emergency brake light is on. Dash light. Why is that on all the time? It shouldn't be on. Oh, maybe the doors are open, that's why. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so I think that one, no, map and dome. Okay, so that one's staying on all the time until I close the doors. I'm not closing the doors, too dang hot. So we can see, I turn that. We can turn those off up there. I'm guessing that's, yeah, there we go. Panel. There we go, it moves. Beautiful. Okay, wipers. Let's see if they work. Yes, they work. You guys can see the stem and the headlights. Let's look out front there. Running lights, headlights. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so everything here works. Let's try the radio. We'll get a signal. That's the aerial right there. We gotta wait, so bear with me. Let's maybe speed the video up. Volume's up, and all I'm hearing is the vibrator. These old radios had to have 12 volts converted up to a higher voltage. You use a special reed type of deal. Really cool device, developed I guess during World War II for tube type radios. You can have music in your car. Okay. Nope, nothing. So let's turn that off, ignition off. Now when it came to stuff like these USB jacks, ports, or this nifty little temperature display, digital display for the transmission temperature, I didn't want to just stick it somewhere on the dash. It just wouldn't look right. Or these ports to drill a hole here, that would be insane, at least for me. I'm installing these things into the ash receiver. It seemed like the perfect place for it, otherwise it would just be a blank panel or just a panel that's non-functional. So I'm going to fish these cables through. Now, funny story, picked up some T's, brass fittings, for this sensor, installed it, fired the car up. A couple minutes I get this puddle of oil underneath the car. Oh, what the heck? Tranny fluid. T had a crack in it. Brand new, never used. She was no good. Now we're just going to tuck this in, and there we go. Oh, before I do this, I got all excited to get it fitted. It's not going to fall any further. We need to install this thing here. Wow, that's so nice. Okay, now we have a knob. That goes onto there. That goes onto there. Boom. Now, I have one more little deal here. It's a little security light that plugs into the fob controller for the power locks. And I'm kind of at a loss as to where to put that. Can't really conceal it. Defeats the point, the purpose. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. And then there's a bolt here. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that and been looking at it as why do you leave it like that? I'm gonna get a little stainless one, 3/4 inch long, replace that. Alright guys, so we have one more thing to do, and that is to test out that radio and see how that panel comes in and out of that console. The top needs to be adjusted yet. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap. We'll get to that. And the other thing that we have to do is modify the ash receiver USB plug deal. The length of the plug is a little bit long, and by the time it gets down to the bottom, it's out about 1/2 inch. So we're gonna have to pull that out, modify the bracket, bring it forward, allowing that panel to drop down inside. So we'll get that addressed, but not today. Now these top covers, I've set them in place. They're on the screws, but they're not adjusted yet, so there's a bit of a gap there. Alright, ignition on. Panel open. And there we have it. I think we can pull this off. We're finally done with that. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Dusting there. Hoo hoo hoo. Yeah, so the bottoms of these icons are kind of cut off a little bit. This panel has to slide back. That one adjusted accordingly. Yeah, so it works. Looks really cool. Now, before I turn on the radio, I'm going to mention that the kick panels are installed with the speakers. That's finished. The original speaker is still located in behind this grill. Yeah, you can see it right there. Alright, let's hit this and see what we get. And there we have it. Let's close it. See what I was talking about? That gap? It's a little bit large. A lot large. So we'll make a little adjustment there. Adjust. Make it look right. So that's most of the dash installed. I think I can find it. Plug the coil fuse back in. Be wondering why the car won't start. And ta-da! Okay, so that's the dash, 99.1% installed. One other thing we're going to do, we're going to need some help with this, is make some final adjustments on the flappers for the shaker. Dad's going to actuate that knob there so that when it's fully in, the butterflies are closed, and when the knob is pulled back, they open to where they need to be. And I'm going to go over here, get you guys on the tripod. Now, the cable is routed through the firewall up into the shaker underneath here, and you can just see the cable there. It's kind of pinched, but not quite. So, unfortunately, I have to tip it up this way and get the wrench. Okay, push the lever or the knob in all the way. Oh yes, that's it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Good. I'm just grabbing the sheathing of the cable and pinching it within the clamp to where it's got to be. Nice and gentle, tighten it up. Okay. Let's set it down. Don't need to bolt it in place. Well, we can rest it in place. Get the bolt out of here. Okay, pull back on it. Perfect. Halfway open. Well, it's level, so it's open. Shut it. Shut it? Yep. Shut. Yeah. Open. Open. Closed. Closed. Open. Ah, my finger. Close, close. We're going to bolt this down. I'll put 2 bolts in here at the front. We'll test it one more time. Okay, is it all the way in? All the way in. Okay, open. Okay, good. Close it. I need to put in 2 more bolts at the back, 1 at the front, tighten it down, and then we can go ahead and adjust the hood latch. What do you guys think? You think we should paint that rad black or leave it aftermarket aluminum? Alright guys, we're just about ready to install the final piece of trim across the top of the glass. And it has been quite an uphill battle because this trim was literally ripped off the car. That bottom right piece there, that had a big kink in it. We straightened it out the best we could, hammered it out, filed it, smoothed it, all that stuff. Now, in order to get this molding in place, or all these moldings, we have to use this little tube with the rope through it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Some of the older guys or glass experts have probably seen that, but You basically slide this rope into a groove that's on the underside of that windshield, and this helps. You can do it with your fingers, but this just makes it a little bit easier. And then you leave the rope in there and you start fishing that trim in. The trim has a little catch. Trade you. The manual says just hook the bottom, and then you basically get the two end pieces together and hold it all together. So we'll try it, see how it goes. Now, see, the bottom wasn't too bad because it's two pieces. You start in the middle, do one side, do the other side. Here, it's gonna be tricky. Just start here in the corner. This is the original glass from the car. Unfortunately, the seal had to be replaced because it was in very bad shape. Alright guys, well that top trim piece is now fully seated. On to the next area. Okay. All this is a guide. A wrinkle, that's all right. For these pieces here. And normally I don't do this until the absolute very end, but a lot of people have been asking about this Chrysler. What happened to it? Where's the 300i? Nick, why are you hiding it from us? I haven't been hiding it. We've been really busy. And being a personal project, this kind of takes the back burner. In a little while, we're going to take this out for a spin. Called the shakedown run. With that oil pan gasket seal repaired, now we can actually out on the road. This is a 331 Polysphere Spitfire. It's kind of a sister of the Hemi. It's not a true Hemi. They called it a semi-Hemi back then, and that's kind of what I wanted to pay tribute to. Spitfire was a little bit long for the quarter panels. The semi-Hemi look good. Now here we have two Hemis, a red Hemi and a white Hemi. I decided to run with the red Hemi as a being complete word Hemi because the engine itself is red. The semi, I need to replace that H with this S. You saw me cutting. Actually it sits this way. And that's going to pop in just like that. We're going to have the word Hemi right there. This is convex, so I have to give it a bit of a bend. Come on, fingernails are all worn down. Sanding, so just a little bit. We don't want to break it. That would not be good. Now, there, it doesn't rock anymore. And we need to locate these in such a way that we're going to cut the H off yet. We're going to stagger them like so. And we're going to have something like that. So we need to have a consistent space between the center point and the edge. And that means moving this over a bit. We have to make some marks or use tape. Point is there. Move it over a smidge. Right there. And we're going to glue that right to the shaker. Once I have 2 points, the rest will fall into place. Now in here, we have stickers, stuff to make it adhere. Okay, that's fine, doesn't matter. What's important is I line all this up nice. I told you, we finish all of our builds. It's just sometimes things take a little bit longer, things you don't foresee. Interior wise, I can't get this interior in until windows are tinted. The guy likes to have the door panels off so he can get right down inside, do all his magic. So when we take it out, there aren't going to be door handles on her, or door panels. Handles are there, door panels are not, at least on one side. Red word Hemi is now glued. It's functional. Little flappers in there. There's a cable that goes inside. Just simple. That's what they would have done in the past. No motorized GGG like the stereo. That's a different kind of fun. Okay, let me go cut this off, this H, and then we will glue everything else together. Because until this is down, I can't get that down. Now this is where things get tricky because we need to get the alignment just so. And time for the S. So we have this logo. We have one on the back we're going to do. And then we finally have the script on the side of the car, the original script that came with the car. Angle's a smidgen different. That's okay. Okay, now back here, things are a little bit trickier because we have a curve in this and we need to maintain a flat line. So this might take 1 or 2 takes. It looks good. And back here, we're going to put some 300i logos. I have to use 2 to make 1. Cut this off. Like that. Wow. This is the end, guys. Actually, I will bring everybody in one more time when the windows are tinted and the door panels are done and all that stuff. And one thing I gotta do is wipe this off. I haven't wiped it off yet. Got ahead of myself. Give me a second. Just a little wax and grease remover. I don't want it too close to the edge. I'm going to dab the bottom. You know what? I think we can. $300. Oh, that fell off. The I-letter series never existed. That's something we came up with for Envision, in case you didn't guess it. This is tricky because I just got rid of that sticker. How much? That's pretty vertical. I don't like that. I want it a little bit. Yeah. In case I mess up, I have another eye. Yeah. Let's see how that looks. 300. And as they say on the Saturday morning cartoons, that's all, folks. Actually, we have one more thing to do. The script on the side. A bit of dust. She has to be detailed, has to be cleaned yet. There's dust on her from just sitting around. I like that. And here we have the Chrysler script, the one that came with the car when we picked it up. And it was just stuck on. Surprisingly, it didn't fall off. There are little retaining clips that go on here. They were never here. So we made some little nuts. There's one more here. Now you can take and stick it through and get those little nuts on. Look at that. Boom. From 1956. Boom! Hey guys, next to me here, I've got the almost finished 1956 300i that we've been building. By our, I mean yours and mine, because a lot of you spent your Friday nights with me working in the shop on this car over the past year. It's almost done. We got the oil pan gasket issue rectified finally. That took a lot longer than I expected to get that oil pan gasket in. Came to customs, got returned for some reason, came back again. It was a debacle. But what we're gonna do, quick walk around the car, jump in, go for that little drive. I know Joe has been really excited, been asking me and basically telling me that he wants to ride shotgun when we do that. But for the people that are watching this particular part at this moment, I'm going to tell you that this car is not 100% done. I'm still waiting on the tint guy to come in and do his magic on the side glass, rear window, get that tinted, and then we can install the door panels. The top door trim, I just got it on just for this video. It took some time to do that. It all has to come off again. We have to make some final adjustments. As you will see, there are gaps where there shouldn't be gaps, and there's a piece missing on the sail panel, so things have to be finished yet. The final details, it might take a month, month and a half, because I've got other things on the go. We're gonna go for a quick walk around and see the car as it sits right now. And then later on we'll revisit it and you guys can appreciate the final product, which gives me an excuse to make another video on it and maybe go for another drive. So anyway, for those of you who aren't familiar with the 1956 Chrysler, this car might actually look stock, but we made a lot of little and big changes to it. The most significant being the length of the car. We shortened it quite a bit. Go back to a previous video, you can see how we kind of sectioned things up. This roof line, we lowered it 1.5 inches, brought it down. You shorten the car, the roof being 1.5 inches higher would look really weird. So came down, laid the windshield back, rear window, didn't touch it. Took some of the crown out of the roof. It just basically streamlined the entire car. The car had a fantastic design to begin with. That's why I chose this car to save. Let's start at the front. As you can see, this is no longer a Windsor front grille surround. Kind of took elements of the 300B without the big bezels around those openings. and reused the trim pieces out of the Newport. They were still intact, a little dented up, we fixed that, and installed them into those openings. The 300B also had a round indicator light just under the headlight. I figured instead of going round, we go horizontal. If you look at it, that horizontal driving light, signal light, is an extension of the lower grille bar. That scoop also serves the purpose of ducting fresh air, cool air, onto the brakes, the front disc brakes. With the headlights, we kept everything, the shields, the forward thrusting headlight shields, original, updated the seal beams to a more modern LED light, and they look really trick when they're turned on. Check that out. Almost like crystals. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's move on. Hoodbird looks insanely dangerous, but it really suits the front of this car. As for the bumpers, we flipped them. Took those gargantuan overrunners, underrunners, side little wings, took it all off, flipped that bumper upside down, and basically kept that front license plate recess where it was. Worked out perfectly. Now the most notable change on the front of this Windsor, 56 Windsor, is this shaker hood scoop that we've incorporated into the hood. And my idea behind that, as well as the other changes on the body, was kind of like, what if Chrysler's Skunkswork division, if you will, wanted to have some fun with the spare 56 Windsor they had kicking around and develop a prototype, a concept of a muscle car by taking a full-size boat and shrinking it down to something more sporty. Long hood, short deck lid, and shave off all the trim, most of the trim, and incorporate some wild graphics that might have been seen on a car, on a custom car, back in the day. So we've got this line that runs down the side, jumps up, and into this little hockey stick here. Similar to what you'd see on a Cuda in the 70s. And we're mainly playing off the lines of that tail light for the red semi-hemi artwork. Now this fuel door is not original. The original one was on the passenger side. It was a big square mailbox door that flapped around. Didn't fit properly, so we deleted that and moved it onto the driver's side. We also had to do that because the fuel tank had to be turned 90 degrees due to the length. It used to sit the other way, fuel neck went up the other side. Turned it, fuel neck comes up this way. There's a release for it inside the car, which worked out quite well. This rear bumper, again, tailored it to the car. Took and shaved it, cleaned it up, welded it all together, and incorporated a license plate up underneath. I love those cathedral style taillights. Really trick. We've got the 300i logo, and as you can see, no fuel door. Now somebody who knows 56s would right away know that the fuel door belongs here, but due to what we had to do, it got moved. Now earlier in the video I did mention, if you're listening, that stuff like this is not finished yet. That has to be pulled up. This rear trim was a bear to install. Not the one around the glass, but this one here. Whoever took it off basically grabbed it and yanked it off. There were kinks through there, and it still has to be fine-tuned. You can see, you know, why would you do that? That really bothers me. There's nuts on the underside that can be undone and removed without ripping off trim. Just look for them. It's one of my biggest pet peeves when somebody brings me trim that's all mangled, because something like this, that'll take you half a day to get sitting just right. So obviously not sitting just yet. There's one more clip that has to go in here. It'll pick that up, align it to this, and there's another trim piece with probably the 300i insignia down the side. That'll finish that off. Door panels have not been installed. I just laid this one in here temporarily. This functional cardboard is a spacer so the glass doesn't ride up against anything inside. And our little glue sticks there. We have to install the door seals. Now while we're fitting this trim, see, it's coming in way too fast, so that has to be adjusted. I wanted to get this video done and out, and somebody's going to say, why are you so hasty? We'll get to the finished car in the end. There's a little bit of work left to do yet, such as touch that up. We went with the theme of 4 bucket seats, surprisingly comfortable. There are headrests that go in there, but I pulled them because I was anticipating the guy to come in and do the tinting, make it easier for him to climb in the back there. Sail panels, again, that all has to be finished. We can go to the driver's side and get a better look at the dash in this car, which is truly amazing. Got the Chrysler emblem that came out really, really nice. We kept the front cowl vent. Those are original squirter locations. Yes, believe it or not, these cars came with squirters back in the day. It was on the floor, driver's side, and you have to use your foot and pump the little diaphragm to make that windshield squirter work. We've got functional vents. They're open right now on the hood scoop. And here we have the dash with our modified fake wood grain effect steering wheel. And as you can see, we've got our horn buttons. Sounds like a big truck horn. I love it. Couldn't put some little Honda Civic horn in here. We've got our gauges down the center, as well as a hidden screen that I can make go up. It's not finished yet. You can see the wires. One more piece has to go in the back there. The covers have to be adjusted, but for now we can turn the dial. And we have our very classic gauge layout on this dash. Dash pad, I kept it original. It was one of the very few surviving intact, not torn, not anything pieces. And some people might have a problem with that turquoise green. But if you look at the late 60s, some of the wacky car options that came with Mopars, you'd wonder. And here, well, we're going to wonder how it survived all these years. Radio does work. There's a speaker to the right of that glove box there. Mainly we have our Android unit there with front kick panel speakers. So there are modern upgrades to the car. There's one thing that I did add in here in the ash receiver. We have our USB port for the radio, for the stereo system head unit, and there's 23 degrees. Turn that off, don't want to burn up the points. That 23 degrees is your tranny temperature, something you can monitor. There you go. The 22, 23. Something you can monitor while you're driving. I want to kind of have eyes on it while not having eyes on it. I don't smoke. The ash receiver was useless, and to seal it up permanently is kind of a waste of space, and to have a digital readout somewhere out here, it just wasn't in the cards. And we're holding all the cards. As for that stereo, again, we could have chopped a big hole in here and deleted that, but I didn't have the heart to do that. We've got power locks, power trunk, and trying to think of what else we can show you. Oh yeah, power window switches. We have the two rear windows, as well as the two front ones. And yes, that's about the only modern looking switch. Those old ones that came with the Chrysler, they were shot. And again, to find something that's reliable, that'll work every time, we just went with these. So we do have some modern touches. When you close out, as you saw, you don't see anything but the 300i emblem. For those that don't know, this car came as a 4-door. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. I will mention it when we step out. You can see that we added 5.5 inches to the door. Love these teapot style door handles. That's why I decided to keep them. Yeah, I could have shaved it, kept the whole side smooth, but it's these little things that take you back to 1956. As I was saying, this door was lengthened 5.5 inches. This was a 4-door. Removed, reproportioned the whole side of this car. We built this door entirely from scratch. I looked around for a decent set of doors, or a door that was relatively in good shape. Nothing in locally, and to ship it from wherever, it would have cost an arm and a leg. So we made a door skin, made a door structure. All these videos have been posted, you can go check them out. The tricky part was this fin tip to get all the curvatures and everything working properly. So that blended in really well. It's seamless. Now when it came to the driveline, we upgraded that. That's a Ford 8.8 with disc brakes. And again, the front, we had to create a disc brake setup that would accept modern disc brakes. Used to have drums, obviously, with dual cylinders all around, I guess for more braking power. This was a heavy car. Right now, she is surprisingly nimble. Powered by a 331, I think it's a WE56 331 Polysphere engine. Call it a poly, or some call it a semi-hemi, and I thought that semi-hemi would look a lot better on the car than, say, Spitfire or Polysphere. So we kept that engine as it is. It sounds amazing. You heard it when I backed it out of the shop. Let's see if we can pop the hood. If I can find that. There we go. There we are. Really clean engine compartment. Modern brakes. And this engine produces, I believe, 225 horsepower as a 2-barrel. We got a 4-barrel, so add 25 more horsepower to that, and 310 foot-pounds of torque, I think, for the 2-barrel. She is a really torquey engine. We upgraded the rad. The original one was rotten, and to recore it, aluminum, done. Alternator, we upgraded that. There is a generator on the underside here that we're keeping. We will need a seal kit for that power steering pump because it's a little bit of seepage there. I can't stand seepage. We're gonna have to pull that off, and not today. We're going for a drive today. It's not severe, it's just a seep. So we're gonna address that later on. It's one of those little things that when I say the car is done, it's completely done, and not having to chase little things like this around. Now this car had a really weird power steering system. It's called a coaxial power steering. So when you're driving, you don't really feel the road. There's very, very little feedback. You're literally floating along down the highway. We did stiffen up the front springs, so that helps tremendously in giving us that lack of lean when we're going into corners. She's pretty darn stable. So anyway, the generator is just there because it's running this pump, and to upgrade their power steering pump to something more modern, the pressures be too high for the coaxial power steering system. So unless you're upgrading the whole thing, we left it alone. Those scallop tappet covers, valve covers, that's another reason why I love this engine so much. One, the sound, the second, the look of that. Windshield wise, this is, you can see little scratches in it there from the wipers. This is the original front and rear glass for this car. Cleaned it, saved it, reinstalled it. Windshields on a 56 Chrysler, I hope to never have to install or remove and install a front and rear window on a 56 Windsor. They are not easy. Talk about sweating bullets. In Chrysler's infinite wisdom, they decided that you'd have to remove the windshield to pull the dash pad out. Well, we have since fixed that. Trim the dash pad up so you can just undo the screws and pull it out without having to pull the glass. Why? Who knows? That's one of those things. So anyway, those are the horns that you heard earlier. Very loud, very truck-like, and just screams, get out of my way. Something big is coming. All right. What do you say? We jump in and take this old girl out for a drive. Get the experience of floating along down the highway. We'll be doing another video once everything is done. This is just a long-awaited update for the many of you who have been following along with this build. Give you some closure. as you can see, the top of the trim. You know, I'm not trying to hide anything. It's there. It hasn't been finished yet. And a lot of people, I'm going to get it in the comments. I know your trim doesn't line up. Why didn't you spend 5 more minutes to do that? That all has to come apart. There has to be adhesive applied to the underside, but none of that is going to be done until the glass is tinted. So it's just one of those things. Other than that, she's fully functional. No more oil pan leaks. Tranny, extremely strong. 2 speeds are weird though. You always expect that 3rd shift. It doesn't come. But the power is pretty endless. It just goes. Let's go stand back and get another look at it from a distance. Yeah. All right, guys, let's jump into this 300i and take it for a spin. That's something 56 didn't have: shoulder belts. Fires right up. Push button selector transmission. Again, one of those things I always get a kick about using. Shakedown run was a little bit nerve-wracking because I wasn't familiar with the engine, transmission, the 2-speed power torque, or power flight, and you always expect it to shift up one more time, but we're about 65 miles an hour. It's not bad. Yeah, it's a nice cruiser. She just floats along the highway. What do you think, Joe? We're sitting at 55 pounds of pressure, oil pressure, which is really, really good. People who were concerned about the steering wheel getting hot, she sat in the sun all day yesterday, grabbed it, no problem, and it's been hot, trust me, when I tell you. Jeez, Murphy. And considering all the open air on this car, she's pretty cool in here. .38 degrees for the tranny Celsius. For the tranny temperature. Just a really nice ride. The front suspension, we stiffened it up a little bit, upgraded the front spring so it wouldn't bow down too much like a boat. These are notorious for that. Original mirror. This will be the second time out with this car, so I'm still watching the vitals. Temperature, 170. Now, one thing I did do was disable the oil pressure gauge on the dash. There's a rubber line that comes in from through the firewall. We sleeved it, the whole deal. But I don't know the age of that rubber line coming in. And I looked at upgrading it to a steel one, but the ferrule and the fittings on the end are Chrysler specific. So you're gonna take some time to figure out the exact fittings for that. Fuel gauge works well. Ammeter obviously doesn't. We took that off because we got the alternator. And the steering wheel came out perfect. You've got your buttons, which match the center, the speedometer, your vitals, the clock, the fake clock, all carry on to your steering wheel. So all the buttons you have a common theme throughout the car is what I'm trying to say. Get the scratches in the windshield. I'm going to try and buff those out, but if not, I'm going to live with it. Even though the car is not finished, it's still a pleasure to drive. A lot of fun so far, second time out. Still got the excitement right here. Temperature-wise, there is only one spot, unless we drill and tap a new location. I just put one sensor in. It tells me I'm 185 right now, so I'm fine with that. Tranny, 46 degrees. All the vitals. It's good to know. How many of you guys have trouble with your passenger side mirrors in terms of viewability? This one I got it aimed, I can see down the side of the car, no problem. That one there, unless I really angle it in, which will look weird, I see the side of the road. I don't have a reference to the car. She's punchy. And there we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the almost finished Chrysler 300i. We're that close until everything is done. Just waiting on these windows to get tinted, and then after that back into it, door panels. That'll really finish this off really well, and I think it'll help with the acoustics in the car as it is with our fiberglass ceiling liner with that velour finish. You can hear the quality of the interior. It's muffled, it's nice. Exhaust wise, a little loud. I like it. Till next time, guys, take care.